exploring a fundamental question about the nature of reality. It posits that reality is not a fixed entity but is instead shaped by observation. The core concept is that the act of observing something brings it into a state of defined existence. However, observation itself is contingent upon awareness. Without awareness, there can be no observation, and consequently, no formation of reality as we perceive it. Therefore, the film delves into the relationship between awareness, observation, and the construction of reality. The question explores the nature of self-awareness and consciousness. It implies a state where awareness becomes aware of its own existence. This can be interpreted as a deeper level of introspection. It suggests a potential for heightened understanding of one's own mind. Entanglement implies that two particles can be linked regardless of the distance separating them. Measuring the state of one entangled particle instantaneously influences the state of the other. This challenges our classical understanding of locality and spatial separation. Entanglement shattered the idea of separation. Einstein called it spooky action at a distance. Einstein coined the term spooky action at a distance to describe a particular quantum phenomenon. Entangled particles link instantly, no matter distance. Crucially, this correlation does not involve any signal traveling between the particles. The entangled system behaves as a single, unified entity, defying classical notions of locality. The film posits that properties are not inherently fixed. This suggests that characteristics of objects or phenomena are not predetermined. Instead, these properties are defined through the act of observation. Observation plays a crucial role in shaping our understanding of reality within the film's narrative. You've never seen objects, only images. You've never touched the world, only sensations. You never moved through space. Space moved through perception. Like a projector displaying a movie, our brains take raw sensory data and create a coherent picture. The movie being projected is our perception of the world. This analogy highlights that what we perceive is not necessarily a direct representation of reality. Instead, it is a constructed interpretation shaped by our senses and cognitive processes. The camera movement symbolizes a shift in perspective. Pulling back reveals the projector as a source of visual information. The projector represents a mechanism that shapes what we perceive. Moving further into darkness signifies exploring the origin of perception. Darkness is the unknown or the subconscious influences on perception. Here, the inquiry is into how our perceptions are formed and influenced. Our experience of reality is mediated through sensations. Sensations form images, vivid and clear. We do not directly perceive the external world. Our understanding is based on these internal representations. Buddha saw this. Eyes, forms, ears, sounds, nose, sense, tongue, flavors, body sensations. This concept challenges the conventional understanding of movement. It suggests that our perception dictates how we experience space. Therefore, space does not move independently of our perception. The universe never moved, only perception stirred, mistaking shifting reflections for a restless world. Reality is not collapsed by instruments, it is collapsed by awareness. This practice focuses on perceiving the absence of visual stimuli. The exercise may then transition to visualizing the opening of the eyes. This simulates the emergence of the visual world from the initial darkness. The universe remains constant. Change is perceived, not inherent. Perception can be misled, interpreting transient reflections as universal motion. Reality is mistaken due to the subjective nature of observation. Shifting perspectives creates the illusion of a dynamic, restless world. Reality is not collapsed by instruments. Awareness collapses reality. The act of observing or perceiving alters the state of what is being observed. Consciousness plays a fundamental role in shaping the nature of reality. The subjective experience of awareness is key to understanding the universe. The observer represents the initial state of perceiving oneself as separate from reality. This separation is a fundamental aspect of subjective experience. Watching a movie symbolizes this act of observing reality from a distance. The observer is consciously aware of the unfolding events. This awareness creates a distinction between the self and the observed. Ultimately, this perception shapes our understanding of existence. The core concept involves the observer recognizing their role as the projector. This implies that the individual's consciousness is the source of perceived reality. The external world is thus understood as a projection of inner awareness. This perspective shifts the focus from external factors to internal creation. The observer comes to a realization about their fundamental role. They recognize that they are not separate from reality. Instead, the observer is the screen upon which reality is experienced. This implies that the observer is the very ground or foundation of reality itself. The observer is an intrinsic part of the universe, not separate from it. The universe manifests and is perceived within the observer's consciousness. Consciousness is not contained within reality. Instead, reality emerges and takes shape within consciousness itself. Perceived images and forms are transient and dissolve. These images ultimately resolve into a state of pure, unconditioned awareness.